Cheers, everybody. Welcome into the Bitcoin Crypto Happy Hour. Almost forgot to put the microphone on. That would have been good. To everyone tuning in live or to those who are watching this on replay, thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Drop a comment. Subscribe to the channel for notifications. And if you are here live, there'll definitely be a Q&A segment at the end where we'll take a look at some charts together. So what am I having today for today's happy hour? In anticipation of the Philadelphia Phillies winning Game 5 of the World Series this evening in Philadelphia, I am drinking a Pinot Noir. It is from Annaba Vineyards, a vineyard in, I believe, what's up, Evan? What's up, brother? Good to see you. It's a vineyard in, I believe, the Sonoma Valley area in California. What's up, Excedre? Good to see you. So, quick backdrop on this wine. I was at this vineyard 3 years ago. I took a trip out to California. Highly recommend it if you don't live in California, and especially if you appreciate nature, beautiful weather, fun things to visit. You can even go to San Francisco if you're in the area, which I did. But if you appreciate wine, you got to check out the vineyards there. They're just beautiful. They really are breathtaking. That's not an exaggeration. What's up, Kevin? Harmony 1 all the way, brother. There can be only one. But anyway, so I was there. You like how I can elevate it and then bring it right back down? So I was there 3 years ago, and I was pretty excited. I got a text message from them that they were having a sale, and they had this thing where they would ship a case of wine, 50% off, and they called it a mystery case. Now, I've done this before. I've participated in this with other vineyards where they would put a mystery case together. The whole premise behind a mystery case, it's exactly how it sounds. They're putting a whole hodgepodge of different wines in a case, right? And they're shipping it to you. 12, all sorts of different wines that they have. You can try them out, right? This was not a mystery case. I was extremely disappointed when I opened it up. And Benjamin Curley, who sent me a really nice personalized card from the vineyard, maybe I'll direct him to this video so he can watch me. I will be giving him a call tomorrow to express my displeasure. Guess what my mystery case consisted of? This mystery case, all these different wines that they were going to throw in there so I could try them out, consisted of Pinot Noir, 6 bottles of Pinot Noir. It consisted of Chardonnay, 6 bottles of Chardonnay. Well, at least they split it evenly between the whites and the reds. They literally sent me 6 bottles of Chardonnay and 6 bottles of Pinot Noir. Like, what the fuck? Like, clearly they were overstocked in those wines with those vintage years that they sent me, and this is what they're shipping out to people. So he is going to get a call because even though it was 50% off, I can tell you that I dipped into the Satoshis to pay for that, It's funny because I get stingy on, like, my iPhone. I've got to get a new iPhone. Like, it's one thing when the battery goes and I can put up with it, and I even bought a battery to replace. It's another thing when you plug it in and the actual port to plug it in, it just won't stay in, and it's just getting really annoying. But I tolerate that. I tolerate it, and I won't spend the money to get a phone, and then I blow like $200-300 on a case of wine, and I get like 6 of the same bottles of red and 6 of the same bottles on white. Like, forget that. He's getting a call tomorrow. What's up, Ross? Nah. Well, you know what, Ross? That's a good question. I hadn't even thought about that. It's kind of actually what you're pointing out is a common sense. Actually, I should have thought of that. It's been a very busy, hectic day. I've been on the phone for the past 3 hours. Didn't do as much prep work for the live stream today as I would have hoped, but I still feel like I have something meaningful put together, else I wouldn't be here. But you raise a good point, Ross. I'll ask that question. Thank you for bringing this up, and I really mean that. I'm going to bring that up when I call him. So I'll let you guys know, actually, when next week on the happy hour, I will let you know what comes out of that discussion. But so I'm having this Pinot Noir. It's a delicious Pinot Noir, and it's a beautiful area. I highly recommend it. Just real quick, before we kind of get into things, has anyone else here been out to California? That's a good blessing to have, Ross. Has anyone else here been out to California? Thumbs up button, by the way. I see a bunch of viewers and not a whole lot of love going on for CBG. Has anyone been out to California and gone to vineyards there, either in Napa or Sonoma? It's one of those things where, for me, I would hear people talk about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, like, I want to get out there. I love wine. At some point, I just, wine grew on me at a fairly early age, like my early to mid-20s. And since then, I've been a wine enthusiast. I love wine. But I always said I'd get out to California, and then appreciate the thumbs up, guys. And finally got out there, and I can tell you that it's that much and more, especially like, hey, if you have a significant other, it's a very romantic place to go to. Definitely a very nice place to go to. It's definitely not like, as a guy, like as a girl's trip, I could totally see it as a girl's trip. As a guy, like, definitely don't want to do a guy's trip to California to check out vineyards. I don't swing that way. So to each their own. Hey, but that's not my thing. So, but definitely a romantic venue if you venture out that way. So there's a lot going on in the market right now, right? And the thumbnail title, I feel, is very appropriate. Very appropriate. Thumbs up, everybody. Because really the question that we have to be asking ourselves in the market is, like, which direction is Bitcoin going? Which direction is the market going? It just seems to be going all over the place, sideways, chippy-choppy bullshit. Can't read it. Is the Fed pivoting? All these expectations surrounding what the Fed's messaging would be. And then I ended it with herd mentality. So I'm going to kind of connect all the dots here. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about Federal Chairman Powell's speech. I'll kind of hit on a few points. I wrote some notes down. We're going to bring it home to technical analysis. It's going to dovetail into technical analysis because I got some good questions and good input. And by the way, if you are listening or watching right now, I appreciate you know who you are. There were a couple people who commented on my videos surrounding technical analysis and how to get into it, and I appreciate the dialogue. So I'll dovetail it into technical analysis, and then we'll bring it home to herd mentality. It's like a fucking connect the dots sort of thing, and everything sort of leads home. So, Joe Swanson, message retracted. All right, I haven't seen that too many times before. Maybe you put something in the comments that you took back there. So anyway, what I had signaled to you guys, what I was looking for was for Powell to communicate a 75 basis point rate hike. I had no expectations we'd get something north or south of that. Expectation met. Really surprised. I'm really surprised. I saw a poll on Instagram with a relatively small audience, but it was sort of the same sentiment. I don't know if it was Bloomberg or who it was, and I apologize. I forget who it was, but there was some major news outlet that was suggesting that the Federal Reserve was going to communicate a 50 basis point rate hike, which I had no inclination that was going to. I would have been very surprised. I signaled that to you guys. I would have been very surprised. I wasn't expecting that. So they did the 75 basis point rate hike, and then I said, look for a pivot in the word choices, right? Listen to the words that Powell uses to indicate that they are going to pivot away from rate hikes to sort of save the market, right? Especially going into midterm elections, right? If you actually study markets and look at midterm elections, wouldn't be surprising, right? So Evan, I'm going to get into your point now. It's a good point. So actually, the way that the press conference started in his general remarks in the beginning was right on cue of what I expected. Because if you listen to his word choices, I didn't have time to go back and listen a second time today. I only listened one time. I apologize. I have a full-time job that's been keeping me rather busy, getting to a lot of pricing analyses within the actuarial world. That's very time consuming right now. But anyway, in the beginning of his press conference, what he was speaking to was that essentially moving forward, they would be very mindful of the relative nature of lagging indicators within the economy, and that they would sort of revisit in December, February timeframe about future rate hikes. And essentially the tone of his message was right on par, exactly what I expected. It was something a little bit more dovish, a little bit more so recognizing that, there could be ramifications for the steep rate hikes, right? And that they would consider sort of backtracking any future rate hikes and sort of revisit that approach, right? And so everything was going good and right in line of what I thought. There weren't any surprises. And then he sort of like did an about face and went hawkish, and then went back to, well, nothing has changed, and inflation really hasn't changed within the past year, and wrote some notes down here. Yeah, started dovish, ended hawkish. The other thing he said here, which I noted, is, this is interesting. He said he would err on the side of over-tightening because they have the tools. Let's talk about that. They have the tools necessary if they over-tighten. And there was also the markets didn't like this. There was also a recognition on his part that this is kind of scary when you think about somebody at the driver wheel who's sort of driving blindly. Honestly, one of the messages I got from what he was communicating is he's sort of driving with one eye. It seems a lot more reactionary than being proactive and having a plan in place. He even acknowledged that when they get to the place of hiking interest rates enough, not really sure when that'll be, and they'll have to revisit what actually will happen at that point. Like, there was a lot of just admission that they're sort of just flying by the seat of their pants. I mean, they're not a lot of deep fundamental understanding to suggest that they have a firm process in place, which, if that's true, pretty scary, to be honest with you. Just looking at from a fundamental perspective, people in charge. He said that they would err on the side of over-tightening because they have the tools necessary to support the economic activity, and versus under-tightening because inflation would become entrenched. And so there's a couple things to hit on there. So I want everyone to understand that this isn't debatable. I mean, you can drop a comment if you disagree with me, but I don't think the following is debatable. Keep in mind that when the Federal Reserve uses the terminology quantitative easing, that is a fancy term to simply mean the fact that the United States has a fiat dollar that they can print at will. There's no fixed supply. So by quantitative easing, it sounds fancy. All it means is, hey guys, we're going to print money to prop up the economy, to prop up the bond market, to prop up asset values, right? So everything doesn't crash. So I'm being as high level as I can in keeping things in layman terminology, okay? So quantitative easing is synonymous with printing fiat dollars. That's all it fucking means, okay? So when he says the tools, they have the tools, all that means is if they over-tighten and they need to artificially prop up the stock market, the Federal Reserve, in my opinion, what they're saying, and I don't know how you can argue otherwise, it's an admission of guilt that they haven't learned from the past. A big reason why we are at where we're at today and why Bitcoin came into existence was because of poor monetary policy. Inflation being entrenched is not something that's psychological. It's something that is based on monetary policy. Okay? There could be some aspect, I would agree with you, if you said inflation is somewhat psychological, but inflation comes about and exists because of monetary policy. If the Federal Reserve is coming out and stating that they are willing to print money to artificially prop up the market, that's what they mean by having tools. There's no other tools they have. Again, this is just using terminology. They're using not smoke and mirrors, but they're, in a sense, they're being a little deceptive, in my opinion. They're not coming out and saying, look, if we over tighten and things become we get a little too aggressive, because, quite frankly, this is a really challenging position to be in, and we really can't forecast things well. We can just we can create more dollars. We can support the bond market, the stock market, the economy. That's what they're saying, but they're not going to say that. It's an admission of guilt that they're going to do tomorrow what they have done in the past, which has led us to our current times. Let me say that one more time. That is an admission of guilt that they are willing to do tomorrow what they have done in the past, which has led to the current situation. A situation. I don't know why I just said situation. Oh, situation. No, that's an inside story from years ago. That just came to me now. Never mind. Can't go into that. Just another typical situation. Yeah. But anyway, that's sort of what I got out of the press conference. And so what was interesting about it, and I agree, sorry, it's hard to catch all the comments here. I appreciate the input, guys. We'll get back to the comments here, but yeah, I mean, and I've hit on this, Evan, is that they've raised interest rates so quickly. I don't know. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse at this point. You guys know, if you've been here for the past many videos, I've hit on the point that not only do I find fault in being not proactive but reactionary, they're also increasing rates at a historic level that has unknown consequences, negative consequences, because of lagging indicators. Now, he recognized in the press conference that they don't know the implications because of lagging indicators. I mean, there was just a lot of mixed messaging. That's what I got from it too. There was also a lot of mixed messaging, sort of starting off dovish and then going hawkish. Admissions that there's a lot of unknown variables moving forward. And really an admission that they're willing to exercise the same mistakes tomorrow that they've done in the past, which is really discouraging. Thumbs up to everyone tuning in. Appreciate the support. You work a long day and then you come on here to do a live YouTube video. I would appreciate if you guys supported me, because there is a lot of work that goes into this. We'll get into altcoin season in 2000. You should know where I stand with this, etc., but we'll get into that. So let me now bring this to technical analysis, right? So you have all this mumbo jumbo going on with some guy standing up at the podium. Let me ask you a question, okay? The question is, what seems more logical to you? Would you rather base your investment decisions on a single individual that comes up to a podium and speaks to monetary policy? Or would you rather base your investment decisions based on factual data and mathematics, which has been in existence for decades? Yeah, which has been in existence for decades. So would you rather base your investment decisions, okay? Again, the turning point for me was years ago. I used to be someone who invested based on fundamentals. Okay? And I'm not saying that some aspect of how you invest shouldn't be based on fundamentals. That's not what I'm saying. But I didn't know how to read a chart. I did not know how to read a chart. I didn't even know. I knew there were things called candlesticks. I didn't know anything about technical analysis. I knew nothing. Technical analysis has only bettered my investment approach, and I will clearly explain why it has and why you should seize the opportunity to educate yourself and how you can do it, to be able to read charts. You don't need to be an expert, but to be able to read charts to better suit yourself for an investment strategy. So again, let me repeat this one more time. Would you rather have an investment strategy that is based on one moment in time in a month, waiting on these monthly meetings for some guy to go up at a podium to talk about monetary policy? Or would you rather base your investment philosophy based on mathematics, logic, and decades worth of data, representatory within a chart? Okay. Now, by the very nature, and I don't know who else here is, I would be very curious to know this actually, because I don't know my audience with this respect. I am very left-brained, okay? What that means is I can draw stick figures, and I have zero artistic ability. So if you ask me to, if I had this beautiful woman in front of me, I have this beautiful girl that I'm with, and she says she wants me to draw a portrait of her, it would look like shit. Okay, if I tried to draw it, I just can't do it. Like, I can't draw. Okay, that's the right side of your brain. It's the artistic side. The left side, music. I played instrument for years. Okay, I played the alto saxophone for years. Love jazz music, love improvisation. I felt I was pretty damn good at it. I won a solo award in junior high school. Hey, that was my highlight of my career. So I love music, right? And I've always loved mathematics. And so as a mathematician and as a data person, the thing that really appeals to me about this, okay, is that all of this stuff is factual. And there are probabilities associated with it. One of the things that really irritates me when I'm on Twitter, okay, and I'm happy to be on Twitter, and for the foreseeable future, I will be on Twitter. It's something I'm on very regularly. I'm on daily, okay? But one of the things that irritates me is when I can tell someone is tweeting something out, it's coming from a voice of someone who is non-logical. They have no mathematical background, right? What I mean by that, and that's not a slight towards anyone, but they come out and they either tweet something that's absurd, like XRP is going to $1,000, or they tweet something out and they say that there's no significance within technical analysis. There's prominent YouTube channels that do this. I tune in, like, it's no secret. I mean, this is probably the biggest channel within the crypto community at the moment, outside of that ass clown. What's his name? Ben Armstrong. What the hell is the name of his channel? I don't even remember what the hell the name of his channel is, but he's a fool. But I listen to Cryptos R Us a lot, right? And I listen to it because I listen to it on a daily basis. In fact, someone I'm thinking of right now used to tell me that she was sick of hearing that person's voice in the morning. I'm so sick of hearing that man's voice. You always listen to him. But the reason I listen to him is because I feel that George does a very good job of updating us on daily news activity. That's why I tune in. I think he does a good job. I appreciate his content. To me, he feels authentic to me. He does. He feels authentic to me. He feels like a real person, and he updates us on news, and I appreciate his content. So don't take my words as anything other than that. I do. I appreciate his content. But the thing that irritates me when he talks about technical analysis is there are points where he uses it to his advantage to prop up the market, in his view, but then he downplays it and talks about it being like basically a crapshoot. And that's not true. It's not true. So he must not be analytically minded and mathematically minded, in my opinion, because he would never make that statement. It's a very ignorant statement. The fact, okay, this isn't an opinion. The fact is the data that's existent within this chart, okay, all these candlesticks, all the human emotion, all the behaviors of investors and people who day trade and bots and algorithms, all this stuff is baked into a chart. Patterns exist for a reason, as I have said in the past. Patterns within charts exist because when these patterns present themselves, there are probabilities in every direction for it playing out. 60% this way or 70% this way and 30 or 40% this way, right? Moving averages exist for a reason. It's just a factual point. And when price goes above it or below it, it means something. Price indicators, the relative strength, they exist for a reason. They play out certain ways, but there are no certainties. Guys, there's nobody out there that can present you with a certainty. But with the power, BitBoy, that was his name, or that is his name. I forgot his name. I was drawing a blank, honestly. I think I muted him on Twitter. I don't even pay attention to him. But anyway, these things exist for a reason. It can only benefit your investment strategy if you understand technical analysis. So, and again, I'm telling you, this is coming from someone who never knew how to read a chart back at the beginning of 2016. okay? I was going through a lot of what I would call life changes in 2016. And those life changes afforded me, some of the life changes actually were positive. I actually had gotten my FSA in 2015 at the start. I'm actually looking at it on the wall. When the hell did I get my FSA? I got my FSA March of 2015. That was a hell of a night when I was in Atlanta. Oh, God. I had a little too much gin that night celebrating. I've only told a couple people that story. I'm gonna keep that to myself. But anyway, when I was done celebrating getting my fellowship with the Society of Actuaries, basically I was used to having a schedule where I was studying and working and studying and working, and I was always preoccupied learning, right? So when I was done with that stuff, I had so much time. I worked a full-time job. That was it, like 40 hours, 45 at most. Like, what could I do with my time besides that? Like, that to me, working 40 to 45 hours was nothing. I was used to working 80 hours a week, okay? So, some things had occurred within the pharmaceutical industry that I was invested in. Hillary Clinton tweeted some stuff out. Pharmaceutical stocks took a 30% nosedive. Thumbs up, everybody. Look, I see 5 likes. Like, I've seen a lot more than 5 people here. Like, please, it helps out the channel. And basically, I got really frustrated with my investments and said there has to be an alternative way to invest to be successful, because a tweet from a prominent governor shouldn't impact my investment portfolio this much. And so that led me into technical analysis. That's what got me into looking into technical analysis. So what I did was, I don't know if this still exists. I'm sure it still exists. I actually signed up for a lifetime membership. I haven't been back to check out the community board in quite some time. I signed up for a Clay Trader University. You know what? Let's have fun for shits and giggles. Let's take a look together. I signed up for Clay Trader University. Claytrader.com. Let's see if that pops up. Here he is. This is Clay Trader. And by the way, if you ever sign up for this, give him a shout out from me. You can tell him Crypto Bull God. I mean, he has my real name, but I'm not going to give you that. But CBG, you can tell him Crypto Bull God at Twitter or YouTube sent you. But I will tell you that I did some research on, I'll have to try and log in at some point. I essentially did research on trying to locate a platform I could sign up for that seemed legitimate, that I could learn how to read a chart. And I spent a lot of hours. I went through every single lesson course that he had. I did paper trading before I ever traded. And the way that it has benefited me ultimately is I've learned how to read a chart, price patterns, not even so much the price patterns. I know how to read price patterns. But the thing that's more invaluable to me is that I know the basics of a chart. I know exactly what it's telling me. I don't take XRP or HBAR for example. I don't fall in love with those projects if they tell me something has changed in the chart. I didn't come out. Well, I gave a long pause there. Definitely not coming out. I came out in December of 2020, and I said that I feel like that's going to be like an audio cut. Like, I listened to a sports radio, they would cut. I listened to 94 WIP, and I feel like James Seltzer would cut that and make that. It came out in December of 2020, and I said that, look, based on what I'm seeing in the chart, as much as I love the project fundamentally in XRP, it has completely changed my perspective and what I think it'll do this cycle, right? So far, I've been correct with that, okay? Despite all the $20 and $30 calls out there, I've been correct in what I've been saying, right? And the reason for that is because I allow technical analysis to guide that decision, not my emotional bias, okay? No matter how I feel emotionally about a project. So the thing it has allowed me to do is, and the reason I would encourage you to look into a solid community and a solid course that you can sign up to, and you got to really do your research. The onus is on you. Would I recommend Clay Trader University? Yes. Now, I haven't looked at it in 6 years. I don't know how in the past 6 years Clay Trader University has changed, but what I recommend you, I will never, ever, 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 ever recommend, okay? I don't need any monetization of this channel, anything going on. Again, I do very well for myself. I'm not doing anything to get clicks and views and all this shit, right? If I'm recommending something to you, it's because I genuinely believe in it. It's something you can always count on me from, okay? I'm being very honest with you. So would I recommend looking into Clay Trader University? Yes, I would recommend looking into Clay Trader University. What it taught me to do was to read this. And what it allows me to do is, now first off, I am not a day trader, okay? I'm not a day trader. Now, will I take swing positions? Will I take swing positions that allow me to benefit from something like this that we'll take a look at? This is a green boner Jesus candle, okay? And this went a lot higher than I thought it would. I sold out in the $2 level. I did not think we'd go up to 262. I was out. But anyway, will I take swing trade positions like this? Of course I will. But the bigger thing it allows me to do is for the positions that I'm invested in, being able to read a chart allows me to know when to properly DCA, and based on my investment philosophy, when it would make sense to start to scale out. Not to go all out, because that's a moronic view. Okay, you want to scale out, sell positions, when to sell out, right? This is what has afforded me the opportunity to do. And the viewpoint that technical analysis has given me is what I don't understand. I have no idea, and maybe someone here can drop a comment and explain this to me. Yeah, Evan, this shit pumped. I got out of it, though. I tweeted out I got out of it and entered another position, which we'll talk about. But anyway, I held a small position, too. It wasn't a big position. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, I lost my train of thought. I completely lost my train of thought. See, I go to the comments and then I completely lose my train of thought, and everyone's just going to drop off the channel. No. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Please stay with me. I got this. But what I would encourage you to do is, this is what I was going to say, is looking at a TA, is what I don't understand is how anyone listening right now, okay, how you answer this question yourself. You don't have to drop me a comment. Just answer this question for yourself, okay? Keep it to yourself. How do you know how to dollar cost average in, DCA? How do you know how to dollar cost average into an investment if you can't read a fucking chart? How do you know it's not overbought? How do you know it's not oversold? If you don't evaluate the history of the chart, how do you not know when are good areas to buy in? Because if you don't know the answer to those questions, then admit it to yourself. You got to admit it to yourself, because I don't know how I could say otherwise. Years ago, you're buying blindly. You're buying at today's price because you have an investment philosophy for far out in the future. But what if you read a chart that suggested, well, even though $50, maybe long-term horizon, like way out, might be a good investment philosophy, I actually think based on the way the chart is set up right now, it's run pretty hard, and this thing could pull back like 15, 20%. So instead of buying at 50, what if you could buy at 42.50 or 40? Okay, you could increase your position by 15 or 20%. That's what TA allows you to do. So I would encourage everyone to educate yourself on technical analysis, and now I'm bringing this all home. So we went from the Fed to the technical analysis to the herd mentality. Now, getting into the herd mentality portion of this thumbnail, what I'm saying is, and I've repeated this so many times on this channel, if you are paying attention to the same news narratives and the same information that everyone else is paying attention to, and you have a similar train of thought as everyone else in terms of what you're listening to and paying attention to and how you view things, don't you think that you're going to have average returns? You'll have anything between subpar returns to average returns to maybe slightly above average returns? Versus if you're able to logically evaluate things in a different manner, and at times come up with a contrarian view that perhaps you could outpace the market and do better than the market. Don't you think that's possible? Does that not hang together and make sense, right? If you're listening, if everyone, for example, It's a very good wine. Even though they sent me 6 bottles of the same one, God, I can't wait to call that guy tomorrow. As much as that's good wine, I don't want 6 of the same bottles. I want different bottles. And I already told someone, you know what bottles of wine we're having for Thanksgiving? We're having a bottle of Chardonnay and a bottle of Pinot Noir because I got fucking 12 bottles of it. So anyway, just to give you an example, you tune in for the corny humor as much as the logic, right? Please tell me you do. If everyone listened to Fox News and CNN, if those are the channels that all staunch Republicans listen to Fox and all the fucking liberals listen to CNN, okay? And statistics showed that most people are middle income, which is like a wide range, right? And they have like subpar average returns or whatever. Don't you think you fit in that demographic? Like the people that are like the 1% or the people that are doing, even, you don't have to be a bazillionaire, but the people that do really well for themselves and have good investment returns, the question you have to ask yourself is, what are they doing differently than you are? Well, clearly they can't be listening to the same garbage that you're listening to. They have to be doing something different. So what I'm offering you on this channel, I'm giving you an invitation to expand your knowledge by means of technical analysis. Keep the fundamentals. I pay attention to the fundamentals. My largest positions, okay, and I've been on record, I will never say how much I hold of something, but my largest positions I'm on record on Twitter of saying what I hold, okay? They are based on fundamentals. But coupled with that is technical analysis to allow me the opportunity to buy in at sensical levels that make sense, okay? When Doge, I don't have it pulled up. Okay, so Band. So when Band is running up, I'm not buying up in these areas, okay? I'm waiting for a pullback. I'm not going to buy up here. It's emotion. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing if I'm doing that. It's emotional. So I'm waiting for a pullback, right? So those are the sorts of things that technical analysis allows you. So I would encourage you not to have a herd mentality when investing. It will benefit you. I'm telling you. I've just been there on both sides of the fence, and I can tell you that it's only going to serve to benefit you to learn technical analysis. So those are my answers to the questions that I've received on technical analysis. I hope that was helpful. If not, rewatch the video, or you can send me a message and let me know. By the way, guys, I'm curious. I'm going to get to the comments here. I'm going to go through a few charts, and then I'm going to take a few questions. I already see we're running up at 6:45 here Eastern Standard Time. These live streams, one of the things I want to try to do is it's challenging, but I want to try to make the live streams a little bit shorter in duration. I go like an hour and a half. I'm just talking and talking and talking and talking. And then I start pulling up all these charts. I'm going through like 12, 15 charts. I got to like condense stuff. So I have to do a better job of doing that, because the reality is, for those that don't tune in live, I give you guys a lot of credit. If you're here for the whole live stream, Jesus Almighty, thank you. Like, Jesus Almighty, thank you. Gotta put some light here. The camera looks a little dark. Hold on. Hopefully that helps. But guys, for those who are here for the whole live stream, like, I really appreciate it. But I have to find a way to make this shorter, because people who would turn in for the playback, like, they don't. I mean, me included. Like, if I was, couldn't catch a live stream and I saw it was an hour and a half, like, that's a little intimidating to watch the whole thing. So I have to find a way to make these things a little bit more condensed. But anyway, yeah, see, and I have notes here on more things to talk about, and I don't even have time for that. One thing, you know what? This has been on my list for a couple weeks now, and this goes out to a person who messaged me on this goes out to a fan of mine. No, this goes out to a person who had messaged me on Twitter, and I said I would get to this in the one video. Let me knock this off, because I'm finally talking about this. Thank you. You know who you are for bearing with me to answer your question finally, because I kept forgetting. So someone had essentially reached out to me and asked me for advice or suggestions on like doubling or increasing their position in Harmony One. And they said, prices are, a lot based on what you're saying. And, I think prices are so low. Should I buy in and buy even more? Here's what I would say. I would say two things, okay? Well, maybe three things. One, there are no certainties I present to you probabilities, ladies and gentlemen, probabilities. 2, never, ever, 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 and this is speaking from mistakes here, okay? Learn from my mistakes. We all make mistakes in life. Always, 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 second piece of advice, always be diversified. Do not position yourself in a way where you are over allocated to one investment. Be diversified. Tie 1 and 2 together. There are no certainties. So as much as you feel like this chart, which we're going to talk about, I don't have it up, so I guess we're not going to talk about it. Oh, no, here it is. As much as you feel this chart is undervalued, okay, Harmony 1, this is actually on a 6-hour. As much as you feel this chart is undervalued, this fucking thing could go to 0. Bitcoin could go to 0. Bitcoin could go to 0. XRP could go to 0. There is a probability for everything, and that's why it's important. Luna went to 0. Luna literally went to 0, right? It fucking went to 0. So, case in point. So, be diversified. And there was a third point in there, which is, I think this was the third point. The third point with that reach out is, I am never, ever going to tell you what I think that you should do. What I am here is to, I always say I provide another data point. I hope you find my information useful. I'm another data point. I will tell you what I see in the charts. You can take with that what you will. You should be doing your own independent analysis, and you should have other people. I very regularly retweet and comment on other technical analysts' views of things whom I respect. My viewpoints are based on my own independent analysis as well as other technicians who I respect in the space and other fundamentalists, okay? You should be doing the same thing. You can't rely on me. You can't just rely on yourself. You have to also get help from other people. So that's what I would say. So I appreciate the question, and that's what I would say on that. Hey, Harmony 1 is up 8%. It was up as much as like 9 or 10% today. Very good wine. I am out. I am out of wine. This is like the, oh my God, it's an SNL skit from way back in the day. I'm out of my Courvoisier, the ladies' man from Saturday Night Live. So that must mean it's time for the end of, okay, anyway. I'm out of my wine, so it must be the end of the happy hour, right? Let me get to the news feed. The news feed? What? Let me get to the comments. God, that was one glass of wine. Let me get to the comments, and then we're going to get to some charts. Let's see what we got here. Appreciate the positive comments. I'm seeing a lot. Hey, Steady, welcome in, brother. I just saw that. You've nearly finished an undergrad in mathematics. So, brother, let me tell you something real quick here. I say this to anyone and everyone who's willing to open up and share what they're going through in life from an educational standpoint. Man, the biggest thing I will say, I think the biggest thing that's attractive to me in someone else, if I was dating them, is somebody who really appreciates and works hard in life. It's such an attractive quality. It's such an attractive quality in someone who works hard and appreciates what they have in life. And so with that being said, what I would say to you is one of the biggest things that if not the biggest thing that I admire in someone is someone who works hard at something they're passionate about. So you're getting your undergrad in mathematics, man. Congratulations to you. Keep working hard at it, all right? Just keep plugging away, all right? Things at moments in life seem far away, but it comes quickly if you just keep your head down and you keep grinding. I really respect that so much. I really do. Gin is nicknamed Mother's Ruin in the UK. Brother, when I celebrated getting my fellowship, the problem was that somehow it slipped out that I like gin. And then so what happened was I wasn't even ordering drinks. And the drinks were on the house. Like this was a big fucking deal. When you get your FSA, like that's a big deal. Like look it up. It's a rare profession to be in. It's like a niche field. Like all the actuaries know each other. We're like a fucking cult, okay? I almost let something slip there I was going to say, but I'm going to keep that close to the hip here. But we all know each other, but that night what happened, the issue was people were bringing me drinks and I couldn't turn that down. So I don't even know how many gin martinis I had. And by gin martinis, I mean gin. There was nothing else in it. So that next morning was brutal. It was brutal. And I had a flight to catch back to Florida. It was not a smooth, trip. But anyway, let's get going here. So, harmonics and Elliott wave. Not as familiar with the harmonics. I want to be an Elliott wave master. So that is on my to-do list. And I will be. Not that I want to and I will be. What else we got here? By the way, I appreciate when you guys drop me comments like this. CBD? Brother, I don't know what you do in your spare time. CBD, did you mean CBG? So, to each their own in their free time, right? And it's a... Ross, if you're... Okay. Ross, if this is an honest comment and you really are being... You're not trolling and you're being serious, that you're 100% in H-bar and it's some sort of a problem for you, my friend, then you have an addiction problem, okay? If you're... I'm going to take your comments as being genuine at the moment, okay? If you're being honest, then... you do have a problem with your emotions, and your emotions are tied to your investments, and you got to get that shit in check. You better check yourself, literally before you wreck yourself. You cannot be 100% in something. I don't care how much. You can't be 100% in Bitcoin or Ethereum or XRP or HBAR or Harmony One or Decentraland Mana or Sushi Swap. You can't be 100% in anything because you will find out the hard way that it's not a good... You got to get out of that place, man. You got to be non-emotional and robotic with how you're invested. Diversify. Never financial advice, but in this case, I mean, this is as close to investment advice as I've ever offered on this channel. Fucking diversify, and you better get out of 100% in HBAR and get in other projects, okay? Not a good place to be. Okay, we need to... Is there a way to knock people out of the chat? Remove. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need that person. Yeah, we don't need those comments in this chat. Don't know where the fuck that came from. Okay. So, Ross, if you're serious, listen to my words, okay? And I really mean it. Like, stop. Like, please stop. Okay? If I didn't give two shits about... And I don't know who you are. You don't know me. We don't know each other. But just knowing you're in this market and you've got to be passionate about the space and you want to succeed, yeah, I do care. I do care about... in that sense, seeing you succeed. Like this, I'm very passionate about this space. I'm passionate about educating other people. And I'm telling you, for the love of God, diversify. And if you're not, and you keep getting 100% into something, you are being emotional. And I will tell you this, okay? If you continue down the path that you're doing right now, you will lose substantially. Remember me saying this. And hopefully this never comes back to bite you and you learn from this. Stop investing 100% in something. Start diversifying. There are other investments you can go in and out of HBAR. HBAR is a percentage of my portfolio. I'm an H barbarian. It doesn't mean I'm an emotional, literal barbarian that's 100% in HBAR. That would be it would be ignorant. So right now, you, I'm sure, are an extremely intelligent person. You're smart, you're intelligent, but you're being ignorant. We can all be ignorant. I can be one of the most ignorant people sometimes you've ever known. All right, so we can all be that way, but learn from it and get diversified. Yeah, Kevin, need to kick that, whatever the fuck that was, out. So anyway, let's get into some charts. I'll take maybe one question. It's already like 7 o'clock here, so we're going to end this live stream soon. So anyway, let's get into the Bitcoin 12-hour chart. Guys, smaller time frames, lower time frame bleeds into higher time frame, right? If there's bullish momentum. We keep knocking up against this 12-hour. I like to see that the 50's moving up towards the 12. If we start continuing to knock up against the 12, I suspect it's going to break, and then we should hit some resistance initially around 22,500. Again, this is what we want to see, right? This is what we want to see because we want a golden cross here, because as long as we get a golden cross and we have bullish momentum above the moving averages, it's going to bleed into the higher time frames, right? And then you'll start to see the golden cross, getting the hiccup, sorry. Then we'll start to see the golden cross on the 1 day, 3 day, and etc. Okay. What do we got here? Oh, real quick, I wanted to hit on this point. So, maybe I'll just hit on this on the. Maybe I'll hit on this on the weekly close. There's a point here that I want to make on the monthly chart, or this is a 2-week chart, but I'm going to save that for the monthly close. Sorry, I'm jumping around. I know. I'm going to save that for the, for the weekly close this week. Bitcoin dominance, guys. The yellow region, when this is touched, I suspect it will break. Now, I see some people, and even technicians I respect, saying that Bitcoin's going to sort of front run and altcoins taking a back seat and blah, 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 blah. One scenario I could see playing, because again, this pattern is a valid pattern. One scenario I could see playing out here is that once we do hit here and it breaks, because I do not see this holding, okay? Maybe it holds for like a week or two, but it's going to break, okay? When we hit this for the 5th time, okay, and it breaks, when we come down here to test the all-time lows in Bitcoin dominance, that's when I think we could see a relief rally in Bitcoin dominance, such that Bitcoin could outperform altcoins, right? Whether it's decreasing less in value than altcoins, or whether it's increasing more in value than altcoins, okay? It works both ways. But as we drop down here, altcoins are going to be running harder. Right in here, sorry. Once we break here and we come down here, this movement from here to here, altcoins will be running harder than Bitcoin. We could see a relief rally in dominance, what I'm saying, back up to this level, right? Because once we break resistance, it acts as what? Once we break support, it acts as what? Resistance, right? So as we start to get a relief rally here, that's when Bitcoin could outperform the altcoins. And then when we come back down to, again, back test this resistance, it now support. Wow, I'm really parsing words here. Once we come back down to retest support, it fails, and that's when we go for the new all-time lows, and we have a true mega alt season next year. So watch out for that in Bitcoin dominance. DXY, dollar index, right now we're getting some lower lows, okay? Low, lower low, high, lower high, lower high. So we'll have to see how this plays out. Still expecting a massive breakdown on the dollar. Sushi, for all those that thought Sushi Swap was dead, it's having a hell of a time here within the past few weeks here. So this looks nothing but dead. I feel very strongly that this is going to start to come up to this level, in this $3 level. Once we break it and come back and more than likely retest as support, we're going to start coming up towards new all-time highs. Sushi is not dead, all right? Same with Band Protocol. You know why I'm salty? Let me tell you why I'm salty about Band Protocol. If you were here for one of my live streams, it was either, it was the monthly. It was on Tuesday. If you were here on Tuesday's live stream, this is why I'm salty. And I've just been very busy with work this week, so I didn't get this chart out there. I am extremely salty about Band Protocol because while I had a position and benefited from it quite a bit, I had on the monthly close indicated that there were a lot of patterns showing up in crypto that were similar in nature, and one of them were falling wedges. And I said one in particular that people aren't crazy about, but it's going to break out or whatnot. This is the chart I was talking about. And I never tweeted anything out about it, which is my bad. And this thing went up a lot more than I was expecting in one day. This is a green Jesus candle, right? People, again, this hit a high of $23.30, and then it just started doing this. And people are like, it's fucking dead. I would never put $1 in it. That's the smart time when you want to start getting in, especially, again, TA affords you the ability to be able to see this pattern present. And then we flip from $1 up to $3. You just turned $10,000 into $30,000. You just turned 1,000 into 3,000. You just turned 50 into 150 if that's what you had invested, right? You literally just tripled your investment, okay? So these projects are not dead. In fact, this is one wave movement up. I've been saying this. We have looked at this chart. This is one wave movement up, and this is a correction. And now we're waiting for a wave movement up for wave 3. All right. So there's nothing dead about this project. It's going to have sizable returns with the rest of the market as we appreciate next year. Look at this falling wedge on the BTC relativity chart on BAM BTC, and we've broken out. So now I said that I sold. I'm out of my BAM position. What did I put it in? I'll show you. This is loop ring. Same sort of premise here. We have a falling wedge. I'm expecting this to break out. I already have a position in here. I put some in Ren. Now, Ren, what's happening is we have this downward resistance. We have this upward sloping level of support. You also have some momentum. This is a 3-day, building in the RSI. I expect this thing to break out, and I think in the short to midterm, I will see greater returns in Ren than I will otherwise have seen in Band. Again, this is my shorter swing term plays that I do with a smaller position within my portfolio. Mask, I stopped covering this one. I covered it way back here, and then it fell off the face of the planet. So for someone like myself... Okay. For someone like myself who was invested in here, this move isn't really much. But for someone, and unfortunately I did not accumulate any more in this dollar level. How far did we get? We went below $1. We shot from like 90, we shot from $1 up to nearly $6 and pulled a 6x. Guys, if you were buying in here, congratulations. All right. Now, this is the true definition of a green Jesus candle. I mean, look at this two weekly candles, okay? Now, what you would ideally like to see on Mask is this roughly $3.50 area hold, okay? So see how the $3.50 area holds. If it fails, we could see a major retracement. Let's take a look. We could see a retracement all the way down to $1.92. Anywhere between $1.42, right? This is the golden area right here. Yeah, and this is a really small market cap, so it wouldn't surprise me. In fact, I would expect it. Right in here between $1.40 and $1.90. Okay, so this could come all the way down here. Now, would that be bearish? No, it wouldn't be bearish. What are you talking about? Low, high, higher low, right? These are two higher lows. And then we come up here and create another higher high. What if we get up to $10? Well, now you have two higher highs, right? So it's just a very volatile market. This is, again, getting back to an earlier point, this is where it's advantageous to be able to read a chart. That would not be bearish. I spoke to that on quant in my quant video on my channel. Took a position in ACH. This thing to me is nothing short of a pump and dump. I don't see any fundamental reason to invest in this from a TA perspective. So what I plan to do is to utilize the chart and the bullish divergence to better position my shorter term swing trade portfolio. So I have taken a position in ACH, anticipating a move up into this area. Same thing with Quant Stamp. I sold out my position a little while ago, put it into Reef. I had indicated that I sold a position and put it into Reef. Well, that was Quant Stamp. We rode up. Where was the daily candlestick? We got a massive pump up right in this region here where we went over 2 cents, and I sold up in the 2 cent region, and I had some capital and put it in Reef. Since then, I've repositioned myself to capture some of this bullish divergence and the fact that this is not a strong chart, but I could see a pump, especially with the way the market is going right now. We're seeing a lot of really volatile pumps. I could see this thing pumping up 50% or more, maybe even doubling in price. So I have a position here, small position. Harmony One, the only thing I wanted to hit on with Harmony One is we do see some bullish momentum picking up in the smaller time frames. By the way, H-bar, someone asked a question on H-bar. We see the same thing in H-bar. H-bar seeing some bullish momentum picking up in some of the smaller time frames. So you should see this bleed over into the higher time frames. Golden cross here with the 200 SMA flattened out would be really good. The next thing we'd want to do would be to look at the 12-hour, kind of see where we're sitting here. You can see we're still below the 200 SMA. But let's look for a golden cross here for bullish momentum to pick up. Guys, I'm still targeting as a short-term target. I still want to see us get back into this 3 and really 4 cent, but 3 to 5.4 cent area. This zone right here. I really want to see us move up here and stay in here. Can't draw it any more clear. Last chart I'm going to look at, this is the 1 H-bar chart. Things are starting to get a little juicy. We're breaking some resistance. The RSI is starting to kick up above a key level at 44. That once it's broken below, it's been very bearish. Once it's been above, it's been very bullish. I expect Harmony 1 USD value to appreciate at a greater rate than H-bar. Again, I love H-bar. I love Harmony 1. Fundamentally, I believe in both projects. I'm just using this chart from a technical analysis, an emotional perspective to guide me to these zones I spoke about before, and the chart is starting to pick up momentum. This is on the weekly, so I'm starting to get a little fired up about this because, again, I was selling out in this area. I sold out some H-bar and put it in Harmony 1, expecting us to get an appreciation in price that I'm anticipating in 2023. We'll have to see how that plays out. All right, it's really late here. I need to start dinner, so maybe I'll take a look at one chart here. We looked at one. Maybe I'll look at one chart here if somebody has it. Let's see what questions we got here. By the way, one thing I got to tell you, as much as I appreciate my community that tunes in every single week, one thing I'm really disappointed in with my community right now, no one has shared with me what they're having for happy hour. Guys, this is a happy hour. I want it to get to a point where when people show up in the comments, they're like, hey, I'm having water, I'm having a glass of wine, I'm having some whiskey, I'm having some gin, I'm having a margarita. Please, someone for the love of God, share what you're having for this is a happy hour. It's virtual. You know? It's a virtual happy hour. This is the world we live in now. The Rona created this. You're damn right, Joe. H-bar. Fundamentally, I very much believe in H-bar. Very much. One of my larger positions within my investment portfolio. I have a very large position in H-bar. You're eating an apple. My friend, no. That's not happy hour. Tell me what you're having to drink. No. You're drinking Jack Daniels. All right, Evan. So, Ugos, welcome in, brother. I haven't seen you. You're having water. Good for you. As long as you're having something to drink. So you say Jack Daniels, like what are we talking about here? Gold label, blue label? If you're going blue label, my Ghost Distillery blue label is still waiting in there to be open from March 21. People who have been here for a while. That has not been opened yet. I'm going to open that live. We're going to have a fucking festival when we go up next year and have a blow-off top, a true blow-off top. I'm going to have a fucking festival on this channel. We're going to have a live stream. I'm going to be chugging beer. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to have a fun time. Guys, I've been preparing for this for 2 years now. So believe me, when it happens, shit's going to get real on this channel. I can't promise there won't be I can't promise anything. I don't know what's going to happen. All right, so you're not going to share what type of Jack Daniels you're having. That's all right. You're having Jack Daniels. Just on the rocks? Just on the rocks, brother? You ever had an old fashioned? Old fashions are my go-to. They're a very solid drink. Thanks for everyone tuning in. Sorry you got here a little late. We're actually ending the live. Now I'm starting to get the uptick in viewers and I'm ending the live stream. This is sad, but I appreciate everyone tuning in. So you can go back. You can catch the recording. I'm going to end the live stream. You can go back and catch. We covered a lot of good things. Before you tune out, covered a lot of good things, including the Federal Reserve, tying it together with technical analysis and making sure that you do not have a herd mentality. And then I evaluated just a few charts here real quick. By the way, the Bitcoin crypto weekly close will be on Sunday once again. So we'll get into some of these charts and other charts as well in more depth. Didn't have a lot of time to cover them in particular. But Holly, welcome in. Sorry. Yeah, you can go back and watch from the beginning. I am going to air fry a piece of chicken. It's a pretty bland meal. I'm going to air fry some chicken. And I haven't made a salad in a while. So I have some arugula and I'm going to make myself a little salad. So John, welcome. I was looking for you, brother. Welcome in. Yeah, appreciate the thumbs up. John's the enforcer here, so he makes sure to reinforce the fact that if people aren't literally taking a second to drop the like button, the thumbs up button, like, I mean, why are you even here? I mean, you're not supporting the channel, right? Come on. So if you didn't catch the whole video, you can go back. You can catch it in syndication and watch the replay. But I think I'm going to leave you guys. I'll look into harmonic patterns. I really think your channel will explode. Well, I hope so. I put a lot of work into it. So at some point, and the whole premise behind wanting my channel to explode is because if I really feel like I have a valuable, if I feel like I'm really communicating something that helps people out and is valuable to others, obviously I want to expand my reach, right? So I hope the channel at some point next year reaches 10 or 20 or 30,000 subscribers. But I'm a little itty-bitty channel at this point. I only got 2,000 subscribers. So, hey, everybody, I appreciate you tuning in. Enjoy some time by yourself, with your friends, with your family this evening. Kick off the weekend right. And as always, share this channel with one person. Share the video with one person. And as always, spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care, guys. I'll see you on Sunday.